Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Psycho's Platters, always powered by coffee each and every time because that is the Mighty Psycho promise. Now, I did kind of promise some people that I was going to try to do a live stream. I would have done it a lot sooner, but you know what? I'm going to tell you something. The day ran away from me. It just did. And I figured, better late than never. Go off and just see if anybody was out and about. I know that there was several shows a little earlier, but hopefully maybe those are all winding down or whatever have you. But needless to say, I'll yippee yap here for a minute or two so people can come on in here, whoever wants to see. Yeah, right off the that's what I figured. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Hello there, Mick. How are you? Um, but it's just the day was crazy today. Not bad, mind you, just crazy. I had unexpected added events that I ended up having to deal with between several children separately, bank issues, nothing too bad. I think I had time to go to one thrift shop. That's it, just one. So there isn't going to be too much to talk about, but I figure maybe we would do somewhere between a 60 and 90-minute show, and maybe after maybe a few minutes, there's a few more people shuffling in. We'll put the invite button, and maybe we can have some more fun like we've had for the last few. I am so grateful to my son for helping me get this stuff together so that I could do all this stuff again, because I really miss it. Oh, do I miss it so much. Anyways, I hope I sound good out there, guys, to the handful of people. I wasn't sure if Joe's still on or not. I know that he was doing his ketchup. I think it was ketchup with mayo tonight, right? I get confused. He does a lot of stuff. I do a lot of stuff too, I guess, but not as much on YouTube as I'd like. Oh, good. Okay. All right. That's good. That's good. Good to see you here. Excuse me. So I'm trying to think. Today, of course, being Wednesday, April 24th. There is not much time. Oh, no. Paul, did you get the link I posted on your channel? I'm an idiot. What link? I don't recall a link. Then again, I could be wrong. I've been known to be, but it's rare. Hey, Willie, how's it going? Willie, I got a question for you, okay? Did something go wrong with your 500 sub party? Because I'm sitting here waiting along with a bunch of other people. And of course, we're seeing the screen. Is everything okay? Because if you had it later, I missed it. I'll have to watch it. I just want to let you know that I was there, though, anyway. It was the link to spin me around. They have the... No, I'm sorry. No, I didn't get it. It's probably don't have it anymore, but it's not your fault. You didn't know. I'm serious. I was in the queue waiting along with I think it said like there was 6 or 7 other people waiting. And just to let you know, this was about like 8:30 p.m. Central Standard. And we're just sitting here going, is he all right? What's going on here? I'm a little confused. And I'm like, I kept going back and forth for about half an hour, but then I had to scram-a-llama. So my life gets very stupidly busy. I said stupidly. Drop the StreamYard link. Well, yeah. Okay, I get it. Hang on a second. I don't mind having you up. I was mentioning that I was going to wait till there was a few people in here before I did that, but that's okay. I don't mind at all. How about that? Anywho, like I said, I don't have too much, but I did find a handful of vinyl finds, which in a little bit here, you will find out what the unique title of Distant Shores, Right or Wrong. What did I write? Distant Shores, Right or Wrong? Damn it, what did I write? Oh, are you ready? Oh, okay. Yeah. No big. So we'll do that then. We'll do that while I'm doing this. So, Distant Shores, right or wrong, are you ready? Let's see. Before I get into that, new subscriber, Tim's Reading Room, Tim Smith. He's got a reading channel too now. Excellent. Go sub him up. He's a dear friend of mine. I hope he's doing good. I tried to reach out, but I don't know what's going on. So, but he's our new sub. And then let's see, in tribute. Okay, I know the dude from original Battlestar Galactica died, but I forgot his name. I feel so ashamed. And music-wise, I don't recall anybody die in the last week since Saturday since I was on. All right, so Distant Shores, right or wrong? Are you ready? So this album here, they were all a buck a piece. I couldn't really screw this up, and I'm like, you know what? When they're $1, I really don't mind. Of course, if they were a quarter, you better gamble, but that's okay. Quarter albums are extremely rare now. I think everything is now up to $1. I don't know any place that has 25-cent albums anymore. That's gone. But $1's okay. Now, I never saw this guy before personally. And I could tell with the cutout hole. And yeah, I know that there's a little bit of cover damage. 1981. Oh, yeah, that's right. Dickie Betts. Yes. We'll get tribute. If I didn't bring up Dickie Betts last time, Dickie Betts, the tribute to him in this video. Rest in peace, Dickie. You were one of the best. Hello, John. So I picked up this album from 1981. Never heard of the dude before. He's English, but I did find out after doing a little bit of research that this dude was the opening act for some of the Fleetwood Mac Tusk tour. Okay. That's why some of this is going to come into play here in a little bit. But we're talking Robbie Patton, Distant Shores. See what I did there? So you've got that part. Now, why did I get this? At first, it was because it said produced by Christine McVie and Robbie Patton. Now, there's a lot more people on this thing. And this is EMI America Records in 81. So I'll show you this real quick. See? Or Liberty, excuse me. I apologize. You know, when you get old like me, you got to have the reading glasses. If you're trying to figure out what the light is in the corner, I took my light bar. You see, that's why it looks a little weird. But I did that intentionally so I could look at some things. So basically on this album here, you got Robbie Patton, Robin Sylvester on bass. Now that name sounds familiar, but I cannot put my finger on what's going on with that. Now on guitars, Bob Weston. Bob Weston was an early 70s member of Fleetwood Mac. I think he was only on the Penguin album, if I remember right. And his brother Tim, I'm guessing. And Lindsey Buckingham. That's right. Lindsey's on this album too. On keys, why yes. Other than Robbie Patton, Christine McVie shows up. Ladies and gentlemen, we bring you our first guest of the night. He was iconic in the last stream. I talked about him to all my work-related and my music-related friends in the last week. And even some of them couldn't believe that Mighty Psyko, who was going to be a preacher in 1986, would ever go off and say, ladies and gentlemen, we bring to the stage Captain Fuckface. That's right. Captain Fuckface has returned.
I put the link for the where they have the Monkeys album. It's 26. Okay. It's $26 plus shipping.
Nice, thank you.
It's on Discogs.
But okay, I'll look into that. And my next guest, ladies and gentlemen, I like this guy. This guy can be sometimes abrasive. He can be controversial, but you know what? He's truthful and friendly, damn it. And that is what's important over anything else. So we bring next to the forum here, along with me and Captain Fuckface, Dr. Frankenstein, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Frankenstein.
Paul, how you doing?
How are you
Dr.
doing, sir?
Frankenstein.
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on, and good to
Yes.
see your new setup.
Thank
And
you.
your voice sounds much different with the headset.
Well, I love it. I know it is a little different. You're right, but I'm getting used to it. I'm actually also surprised that my little. Oh nope. See, I was gonna say, are you gonna stick around? I even now. It's not my cat, but it's my furry grandchild now. Toby Tobeans is milking around, murking around here somewhere. So yeah, I got all kinds of
Yeah.
fun now.
Well, I got my coffee at night.
See, there's nothing wrong with that. Half calf for me right now.
Well, I've been told otherwise here in the vinyl community, but
About
I
what?
know about drinking too much coffee. But I knew if
And
I was going to jump on panel with you, I'd be in good company. So,
yep, there's no such thing as too much coffee.
oh, I don't know about that.
So, not to be too much of a nosy, what happened? Were you all right?
Yeah, no, I'm fine. So, it's one of them little pranks I played. I'm gonna be real honest with you. So, I did try to set it up like while there was another live stream going on, so that way if people were waiting for me, at least they could jump over to another live stream, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But what kind of happened was like last week, I had hit 500 so many times, and right as I would hit 500, I would lose like 4 subs.
Don't you hate that shit?
You know what it is? I mean, okay, this is the whole thing I did with the troll stream
Uh-huh.
and all that research I did and all that cop work, all that, vinyl community policing I was doing.
Mm.
I figured out that basically there's a good like handful of trolls that are subbed to me like 5 times. So when I get close to this milestone, they're going to unsub me, or what they want me to do is do the 500 celebration stream and then finish it, and then they're going to unsub me as soon as I have the stream. So the idea, you want to wait until you have like 515 subs.
That's right. I was just going to tell you, that's the secret.
But that's what I was also doing this little quote prank because to test if people like, because I knew people would unsub me, and a few people did, and it's not a big deal to me. It just indicates when I hit 500, I want it to be 500.
Yeah.
I don't want the trolls to just inflate me to get to 500 to get my hopes up. I know when I have 500 subs, and there was even Arnie, who I like a lot, subbed me like 12 times, and I caught him doing it too.
Holy shit!
Yeah. No, and like, I try to be cool about it. Like, I mean, it's not a huge deal, but it's just like, I know when my numbers are getting, not like I'm super obsessive about it, but it's like my numbers are low enough that it's easy to keep track of it for the most part. And I know when I'm getting sub 12 times at like 4:40 in the morning, it's, and I'm not putting videos up or any you know what I'm saying.
Right.
But, anyway, no. Hopefully that clears things up. I know that there were a few people concerned, but at the same time, it's the VC, and there's enough pranks played here, left and right, and I mean, I can't be too sorry.
Like, you got to take it water off a duck's ass. That's all it is to it.
As soon as Stunty made some, was worried about like suicide or something, I think I had to. No, I had to indicate, hey guys, I'm alive, and so I think what I did was I changed the chat to subscriber only. Message me after you've been subbed for 5 days, which I wasn't going to do the stream anyway, so it's just like my little joke back to
Gotcha.
him. But,
okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. It's funny how certain Rachel's Ghost type people are like trying to ignore me, yet I can tell they're like on my page daily. I'm like, I'm not kidding. I'll get like, for a while there, I was getting a daily unsub of like +3. I'm like, this is unreal. This is trolls being lame with me right now. Every time I would get like sub or -3, I'm just like, I don't even care. This is probably not legit. I'm not even making videos right now. And then also one of them who I figured out, whoever's OG pumper, always has to rub it in that I lost 3 subs one day, or I only had 12 viewers during my live stream that was competing with the Tomato Show.
Hey,
So it's like
DJ.
he always has to rub in like how I'm super unsuccessful. I'm just like, dude, just get a life, dude. It's just like you are more obsessed about it than I am. You keep better
Right.
track about it than I do.
I mean, let's face it, okay? I began to realize this about a year ago that there is just so many people out there with streams like we all got. You, me, everybody's got, stuff. So it's like you're always going to be competing with somebody else, whether you want to or not. But I'll admit this whole Raging Tomato thing. Now, I went and I think I saw that broadcast with you and everybody else, the old men's club, I call it. And I must have missed this, of course, but I'm like, whatever. I mean, I don't care. But I do not know what to think. I've watched some non-VC episodes, if you will, and I mean, I know Sarah's not going to be watching this shit, but you know what? It's not my cup of tea. I mean, I'll take if I'm bored, I'll watch it for 2-3 minutes and then I'm off. I flit around a lot of channels, is what I do. So yeah.
Well, can I give my little? Let me give my thoughts on that. And I
Yeah.
see DJ Trish here, who's in the Tomato Show.
Yep.
I see. So I think she likes the Tomato Show, and a lot of people in the VC do. It's a variety show. I understand that. My channel, I'm trying to push as a variety channel, with more of a focus on vinyl and the vinyl community, of course. But with the Tomato Show, okay, it's a Manosphere show. A note on that is women are taking over the Manosphere right now. So that's why Tomato's getting so big. The thing with the vinyl community crossover, it's like it's mostly Rachel's Ghost people, and they like that drama scene stuff anyway.
What the hell is a Manosphere? I've heard this now for maybe on and off for a couple days. What the hell is that?
So, well, I mean, back in the pandemic times, there was this whole section of YouTube that was very, very popular, and included a show called Fresh and Fit, which actually Arnie Zanzibar used to troll Fresh and Fit, from what I know. No, this is it. Like I said, the troll research I've done, I'm learning a lot about these guys. But so the Manosphere, I think the main characters are going to be a guy named Richard Cooper, Rollo Tomasi, who has a pretty much an important book that people call almost like the Bible of the Manosphere or whatever. But it's basically what it is. It's a bunch of men who've been put through the ringer in divorce, or I guess the category that I am in was I've been having issues like I can attract a girl, it's keeping her around, and that's what that's kind of what I was involved in, or that's like what I was the help that I was seeking. But I was seeking it not from Richard Cooper. I was seeking it from another guy, LFA, which is where Sarah came from. So me, myself, Sarah, and then the guy Neo Starling. I don't know if you know who he is.
Sorry, no.
I did feature him on my channel, but he was in with us too, and I mean, it was just, we all sort of had a different focus for each of our channels, and we all three helped each other out. And it was weird for me because I was vinyl community, but they still were there to support me. And then Tomato would come into my chat, and for like 3 months before she was introduced to Rachel's Ghost, and she would, hey, what's up, Michael? How you doing? Michael, who's been jumping on my channel here recently. But no, about 3 months before she was introduced to Rachel's Ghost, she would come in my chat, and I would just be like, I want to keep this a secret. I don't want her getting out like she's from the Manosphere. I just want her to be like, she's my online buddy, and that's it. But then one day, it was like Rachel's Ghost had like summoned me. And this was the thing, like I was so busy during the day, like looking for records or shipping off records, that I wasn't really even watching Rachel's Ghost. But people would send me a message and be like, hey, they're talking about you on Rachel's Ghost. And so I would open my phone and see what was going on. One time I even checked in on my phone as I was driving to Target. And I used to talk about that stuff so much. I was literally walking inside a Target with my phone. And Alex, that was like one of the last times Alex Dickey was on too. And Alex Dickey didn't like me. But anyways, one day I'm summoned, and I think Miss U said, is William the Flipper an alpha male? And I guess someone sent me a message, and then I called in. And then I had to answer the question, am I an alpha male? And I think my response was like, I don't call myself an alpha male. I think stuff like that is up for a woman to decide. And I think, maybe I said that men aren't exactly, it's not very manly to sit there for a man to point out to other men, like, look at that man, he's an alpha male. It's a waste of time. But anyway, that's the point I was trying to make on Rachel's ghost. Anyway, I told my friend Sarah, and then she jumped in the chat, and then basically Rachel and the whole chat and the whole show fell in love with Sarah, and then I started making all those weird drama streams that, for real, Paul, if Sarah never jumped into Rachel's ghost, I may have never done those drama streams. And it really had more to do with kind of like the names I was getting called by Rachel's ghost, and I just Rob was being a little bit of a punk to me, and I'm like, I could actually make a whole episode on sort of the trash talk people are giving me.
Right.
And people sort of interpret it one way or another. Honestly, just I picked up that and greetings, Piccolina and everyone, and I picked up that the vinyl community took an interest to this type of content, and it was even I could get away without showing a record even, and people would watch.
Oh, yeah. Your first splash into the VC, your first controversy was that Walmart video you did. I remember people were so fucking pissed when they're like, why is he buying so many copies? I'm like, he's flipping fucking records. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
He buys records and sells them at a higher price. It's not like he's asking fucking record store prices. He asks a little bit more and makes some money off of it.
Well, I think I did say that I was going to try to make a lot of dough. I think I said in there double or triple my money, which you can do. And I have talked about that on my channel. But I think the people who got most mad about that was AGK, I noticed, and Groovy Lisa and Paulina. And we've cleared the air. I mean, it's in the past. I've talked about that video enough times. But no, I mean, the reason why I made it, though, is I was actually watching VC videos for 4 years prior. And that was the common narrative that I saw all over YouTube. And people like Melinda Murphy would just even say, I hate the flipper. And I'm sitting here watching this. I'm like, well, this is what I do. Or it's sometimes I was doing it for a living. Other times it's a side hustle or whatever. But it was I sort of took offense to it. And so I had this idea of making this video for a few years of, what if someone came out there and said, no, I am the flipper. No, you guys are dissing me and my game and what I do. And I take offense to that. And that was a video I made. And I know people still take it the wrong way to this day. It's my only video on my channel that has more dislikes than likes. And I'm proud of it.
Well, we all know there's only one flipper anyway, and unfortunately, he passed away in a tank at a SeaWorld in Largo, Florida, many boots ago. But no, I get what you're saying, okay? I mean, when I was going off and mentioning, for example, on the full flipping thing, hang on. I click on the show, and I'm assaulted by F-bombs by some jerk in an avatar. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry, Linda. I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry.
He's a troll.
Well, whatever.
He's a troll.
But the only F words we threw around here is Captain Fuckface. Other than that, that's about it. I try to keep my thing PG plus anyway. So the thing is, with the whole RSD situation, okay, and I know RSD is overblown. RSD, it's not about the record stores like it originally was supposed to be back when it first started out. It's all about, hey, let's face it, the record companies aren't really honestly making a lot of money over this when they're limited copies, okay? So, but what really pisses me off, and I know I said this on another stream, and so I'm sorry if I'm reiterating a point. When I went to Record Store Day, and I wasn't going to get much anyway. I'm not a guy with a big ass bucket list of stuff. And so the thing is I had maybe 3 things, and I wasn't even going to buy all 3. But that first one was that Monkeys one that I've been wanting since I saw the first day the list came out. And so I get up there, and the line was nuts anyway to begin with. So when I found out there was only going to be 1 copy at each location, I'm like, whatever, this is going to be a crapshoot anyway. When I get to the counter with my other purchase, I went and brought it up, and she's like, yeah, that thing was gone in 5 minutes. I did not know there was that many Monkeys fans in Northwest Arkansas. I said, and that's part of the record company problem, not your problem for being the store. It's the problem of the labels. The labels are messing with people.
Yeah.
All right. They know damn well that they could have made 25, maybe even 50,000 copies of that thing, and it would have sold.
Yeah. No, and it's got a lot to do with demographics too, and certain some product performs in areas that don't like that. Monkeys, I'm sure, is available in like a lot of other record stores, like still hanging out.
Yeah, but this was unique. Now I'm gonna put my tables on the card. Like I said, I have never professed to know it all, but I know other countries had different record store day releases. So I didn't get to see whatever the UK was showing and all that other stuff. In fact, what's really funny, I don't even recall anybody else that was overseas bringing up much about that either, unless it was such a low amount of releases in the UK this year that was separate from the rest of like America or anything else.
I got to get going, Psycho.
Okay.
I wanted to put the thing for Discogs in there for you, so you can.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
And listen, you have yourself a great night, okay?
You too. Like I said, it's $26 right now, and that's with another 5 shipping, and I figure that's a fair price.
Yes, I will communicate. Hopefully, they still have it Friday because I don't get paid till then.
Yeah, that's when I get paid. Also, you have a nice week.
Thanks for coming on, Cap.
What's that?
Nothing. All right, have a good one. So one thing, point you just made, something about it being profitable, or you had started to mention, is that right? About Record Store Day?
Right.
I mean, the truth about it, like even if a record store day is successful somewhere, like the big record store day here in Omaha always is successful on that day, but I don't think it's truly profitable for anybody. Like record store day is going to be profit, like even like Taylor Swift, like last year when she had that big release, like there's so much involvement in marketing and production, and I mean, I think, and then especially cost of the product, and then how many people get paid over that, and then the record store alone has to sell it, and then their profit on top of that is super low. So I think really what record store day ends up being is people just go and spend their money, and the people who get the money don't even necessarily profit. The money just spreads so thin, no matter how much is made.
See, and it's almost to the point. I hate to say that, and you're right. You're right about all those steps. It's almost not really worth it anymore. Almost. Okay.
I don't think it was worth it at all. And in fact,
the first couple years, even back when I was in LA, I think it started. I was in the last year of Illinois, and it was an interesting experience, and the titles were a little unique. I'll tell you this, Will. The thing that kind of ticks me off also, and I don't understand it, and to me, I'm just going to throw this out there that to be the hipster, whatever. I know that's funny coming from an almost 57-year-old man.
Oh, you're one of the hippest 57-year-olds I know, but go on. I'm sorry.
Oh, thank you for that. But seriously, when I see that they're going to go off and put an album that has been out for 30, 40, 50 years, and we're going to put it in 180 color vinyl, or we're going to put it as a picture disc. I'm sorry, I'm not into that shit. I will go to a record store and go buy the same original, not a reissue, OG, for $10 or even $20. Because most of those albums that are on that list, unless it's super duper rare, you could get them from around that price. Now, that Monkeys one, no. I mean, God, it's been a long time since I saw it under $1,000 for a VG Plus, and I'm like,
oh yeah.
oh.
Well, and the thing about Monkeys records in general is when you do find a Monkeys record, I rarely see them in acceptable condition anyway.
Right.
But the one thing I was going to mention about Record Store Day is, I mean, what is a successful Record Store Day? I mean, because I was going to go in to Homer's, which is our big record store here in Omaha. But I ended up just checking, like they posted their leftovers online, and then I started going to other pages, checking their leftovers, and there was some stuff in there that I thought was going to be hard to get, that I saw that they had like 3 and 4 copies left over after Record Store Day.
Wow.
So, I mean, it does surprise me, the stuff that gets left behind. And I think for the most part, people do go to Record Store. Okay, first off, Record Store Day is a fun thing. It's always going to be a fun thing for people.
It's supposed to be, yes.
Yeah. Or a holiday, but I don't think it's a success that they want it to be. And I just have seen, and I can say this going out of town to other record stores, even recently, I see tons of Record Store Day leftovers every record store I go to.
Yeah.
And so that's not the idea. Is they want Record Store Day to be unique and be like, like at first, like you can only get it on Record Store Day kind of thing. Or there's been a few releases that sell out super fast. But I mean, at the same time, they sure saturate it. And I guess I saw this, the vinyl community casting on Instagram. I don't follow it too often, but I saw that they posted the funniest meme. It was Donald Trump at the White House when he bought McDonald's fast food for the Clemson Tigers national championship football team. And it was like, bought like 5,000 Big Macs or something. And the caption of the photo was Trump sitting there with all the Big Macs, and it said RSD. I was like, that is the funniest meme.
Geez.
And it's sometimes those memes that just, less is more, more is less, and all it said was RSD, and that's all the meme needed to say. It was so funny. But I wanted to show these.
What you got?
This is like Record Store Day from last Black Friday. This is that first Goo Goo Dolls. I got this for $11.99. And like, speaking of like Record Store Day getting saturated, like they made like maybe 3,000 of these, which 3,000 is not a lot when you spread them out. But when you put them all in one place, it is hard to burn through them. And that's what Record Store Day ends up being, is like, yeah, it's not not many copies of the Goo Goo Dolls, but when you have only so many people going with so much cash, and they already have this, like, a top 10 of their list, they can't afford to buy everything.
Right.
And so that's the trouble with Record Store. Is like there's almost too much cool stuff, but then it's like looking at that list, this past list was so long.
Yes, you're right on that.
And this is the first time I've seen a list like that where there was so many titles, but this time around the quantity were a lot lower. So I see the idea there you don't want to make the problem, what they were doing is they were making too much of one thing. And then people weren't buying it. And then, I mean, I think people are starting to get the hint, and especially with quality control and this stuff, not always, sometimes pressing 3,000 in a hurry is not a good idea at all.
That's true.
That, makes the value of the product less. But I mean, I got this here cheap. This is that Bull of the Woods 13th floor elevators, which
nice.
Yeah, no, there's going to be stuff like 13th floor elevators, or like this past one, the Parliament Ozium. Like, you can just never have too many copies of that. And so there's going to be those great things on Record Store Day. And I understand there was a lot of jazz reissues, and I don't get into that stuff. But, I think here's the thing that we've all been collecting records long enough. If we have YouTube channels, we know the game. And we shouldn't have to drive this home too hard. Patience is a game when it comes to vinyl. Record Store Day included. Yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah.
And then especially even I mean, I guess I talk about Black Friday time in the around Black Friday time on my channels when I really hit those sales very heavy. And I just try to get the information out there. Like, this is the time of year to buy this stuff, whether or not for yourself, for Christmas or whatever. But like, keep in the back of your head, like, what are the titles I want all year or whatever. Or I'll even make a bookmark on the sites that I frequent that have the best sales. I'll bookmark certain titles. And then that way, when the sales happen, I'm on it. But I mean, those are just some of the tips that I like to throw out there.
Well, it pays off to do that research, and you're obviously doing it. You're doing your homework. That is for sure.
Well, and I also try to offer, I've been doing Discogs for 10 years, and I try to offer that expertise. Now, Discogs is awful right now, or I don't know. Part of it is like, I've been thinking, like, does my YouTube channel and the fact that I show my face like ruin it for people, and like they don't know that I'm not going to order a record from this guy? But no, I don't think it really has that much of an influence. I think across the board, Discogs has not been doing well. And I've been trying to get this sort of conversation started on my channel, but I mean, I don't know. Some people have mentioned, like, when I bring this up, they say like, no, this economy is not good for, buying things, your desirables in general. This economy is not good for at the moment.
Right. Oh yeah.
Inflation and is one issue that we're battling, but no, I think record stores in general are down. And then even seeing this past weekend, record store days and the leftovers, I was surprised to see what was left over. And some of this stuff where I was thinking, well, gosh, maybe I should go down to record store and at least grab that. And just seeing like, hey, I mean, there's still some hanging out, and
I'm trying to think. There was like 2 or 3 titles that there was at least 10 to 15 copies still there. I cannot, my names are not good, but I remember seeing that many of many copies of Pearl Jam. I think it was the Pearl Jam Dark Matter.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And I'm going, and I haven't heard one dang song off of that. I like early Pearl Jam, but I don't know. After the 3rd or 4th album, I just kind of just fell away. I'm like, it just didn't sound
I've never been a Pearl Jam fan. I even lived in Seattle, and there's a mixed bag on Pearl Jam up in Seattle, and now I live in Omaha, where there's a mixed bag on Saddle Creek stuff. So like, Bright Eyes, Cursive, The Faint. There are people in this city who are like, it's not cool to like that stuff. And no, I met some people in Seattle who were in some bands, kind of, in the late 80s. And this guy I actually worked with at a job said that, I don't think he like knew Eddie Vedder, but he knew some of those people in Mother Love Bone. Just just a couple of them just being in the scene or whatever. Yeah. And he told me some of the stories that, like, they were not this grunge band at first. They were more of like this leather hair metal band, and then I guess Eddie Vedder kind of came to him. I think this was after their lead singer died of a Mother Love Bones.
Right, Andrew Wood.
Yeah, no, after he passed away, I think Eddie Vedder sort of came together with the group around that time. I don't know the exact details, but I think he was the guy who sort of said, yeah, we got to knock this hair metal shtick off, and it was definitely phasing out. So Pearl Jam in many ways formed into that grunge rather than being influenced by Dinosaur Jr. or I think a lot of those grunge bands, or like Mudhoney, for example, who I tried to mention recently on my channel. Mudhoney captures the essence of grunge, which even saying that sounds a little bit ungrunge. But I mean, they're a Seattle band though.
Yeah.
And no, Seattle was known for that sound, and I think Pearl Jam. I mean. Total vinyl band, to put them out on Record Store Day, not a bad idea. They're gonna, if you think they press too many of those, they're gonna find homes for Pearl Jam vinyl, and like Dave Matthews Band vinyl, Taylor Swift vinyl. They're gonna have no problem finding a home for that stuff. But there's some stuff on Record Store Day that like the Nick Kahan guy, or Nick Khan.
There was a ton of that.
there's a lot of top 40 artists this time around. Like they went really heavy, and when I was looking at them, so Olivia Rodrigo was the biggest name, but I think even of her they pressed way too much stuff. And like even last time it was like Post Malone, they made like 10,000 copies of that. And it's like I think they have the wrong idea a little bit when it comes to top 40 vinyl. Taylor Swift is the exception, but it's like I've said this enough times too on my channel. Not all Taylor Swift fans are buying Olivia Rodrigo records, but vice versa. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Olivia
There's
fans will
different
buy
markets, different
right.
tastes. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So no, I mean, and I get it. The record store, I mean, they're trying to pick up on buyer habits, but it's really tough to pick up like what are people going to go out on this one day and buy on this one day. It's a lot easier to say, okay, this is how many Doja Cat records sold over the last 6 months,
Yeah.
But it's like, can they get away with doing like Billie Eilish variant on Record Store Day like a couple years ago? It's like those records sit anyway. Why do you need to do another hologram thing that costs $15 more anyway? They're not buying that anyway. So it's like I think I've talked enough about the mismarketing of Record Store Day 2. I'm plugging my channel, by the way. So if you're not subbed to the Pumping Vinyl channel, I need one more for 500. Shameless plug. But no, I mean, I've worked in record stores throughout college and know a lot about, how the market has dipped, changed. I've seen vinyl go in and out of style a few different times in my life. And so, I try to offer, that perspective and, I don't know. I think people get a little bit, I mean, I get it. We want a record store holiday or a record holiday.
Yeah.
And in many ways, Record Store Day is like that. Did you notice this on Record Store Day this past Saturday? How many people had a live stream that day? I mean, there was like 4 or 5 live streams going on in the VC at the same time. And
was
it's like,
there?
Yeah, no, it was like, I thought you had one maybe.
Well, I thought maybe you like meant when it started, like when they opened the stores. I didn't know you meant the whole day. Yeah, I'm guilty of that. I went and did one in the afternoon.
Well, I think Rachel's Ghost, they had like Rob and Mazzy checked in from wherever they were at. But then like the whole day, it was just like, I think people would just, I think Harry started to stream to show off his stuff. And then I just started to stream just to play records and bullshit with people. And then, just everyone, I think point I was trying to make, I mean, it really is in a way, we make it a record holiday. Even if we don't go to Record Store Day, I think a lot of us find an excuse to pull out our old records and appreciate them. So,
which is great too. Every day is record store day for us.
Yeah.
But I mean, I get what you're saying about all of that, and I think I said early in the broadcast that day, I go, I know that the title is instant clickbait, but I don't give a shit. I figure I know some of you, but like I said, I did. I know I'm repetitive a little bit, I guess, but I'll briefly show.
I'm repetitive too.
The only RSD I got was the tinted windows, which I'm waiting to listen to that. And then for used stuff, because everything was 20% off, and I'm originally from Chicagoland, I picked up a nice 1973 Ides of March Midnight Oil. I didn't have that one. And then he's coming here in 2 weeks, Bruce Coburn. And so I'm trying to get some Bruce Coburn vinyl so I can, try to meet him and get some signed. That's what I'm trying to do. But so the thing is, I got to tell you this much. I do envy the people that were able to work in the music industry no matter what the capacity was. Like, I've always been fascinated not only with what we see at the concerts, listening to the records, all that other stuff, but working the retail, and it's like pulling back the curtain for the wizard. I wanted to see the machinations of everything, and I wanted to work too in record stores. I'll admit that. The thing is, as we've also discussed around the time frame, I screwed up in my life. I'm going to admit that. Okay, I am this middle-aged man that should have went off and started a lot sooner. My ambition threw me off. I didn't have much. Hey, Fred, and I should have started 10 years sooner. Worked through the record store, intern at the radio station. I could have at least spent maybe 10 good years, even when it converted to CDs. So I could have seen what the business model was, how much the profits were, what's selling, why, the good and the bad. And then when I was working in radio, which I ended up doing on and off for 7 years, I got to see a little bit of it. Okay. And I mean, Chicago area was something else. Now, you were talking about Pacific, Northwest Seattle. And I'll admit, during the grunge years, okay, I'm sorry. I know I'm going to sound like a weird one, but I don't give a shit. I mean, I like some grunge too, but God, I miss I loved the hair metal and heavy metal back then. Okay, but yeah, but I mean, like I would say, we didn't have very much that came out of Chicago. Trouble was probably the biggest one. And I love that damn band. I do. It's so gloom doom awesome shit. Okay. So for every trouble that there was, or for the hair metal quota portion, Diamond Rex. I don't know how many people know that one, or D Malls. That was another one, and Enough's Enough. So you had all that stuff. Okay. So when you had all that, then you get to grunge, and at least for Chicago, anyway, to my knowledge, Smashing Pumpkins, of course. Mm-hmm. All right, they were the biggest, well-known. But you also had people like Material Issue, Urge Overkill, L7, Veruca Assault, and I'm just like, we had our thing, but it didn't last damn long, except for Smashing. I'd say maybe 2-3 years tops, and it went. It imploded, and I'm like, what hell happened?
Yeah. When were you in Chicago?
Now, Chicagoland, I should stress out. When I was doing the radio bit, that would have been 2000, 2001, but I pretty much was going. I was an old fart going in my 30s, going back to school. Hey, I'll tell you. But I was learning from like 96 to. I stayed an extra year. I was one of those ones that volunteered to stay an extra year, and so I got to kind of, I don't know, dip my toes, if you will, in the Chicago music scene, some when I had time, because I was juggling a marriage and kids, but that's how it is. So I went the wrong way. Okay. I went the wrong way in my life. I loved music ever since I was a little boy. And I always wanted to be, I've said this before, I'm the old fart that had transistor radios. I wanted to be the little guy that was talking in that box. That's what I wanted to do. And I did get to do that for on and off for those 7 years. But I still feel I'm not going to, this thing that you people currently, almost 20 people are watching, because you guys are either bored or I just really, you're waiting, and that's fine. But I'll admit it, I'm washed up, but this is my platform. This is my radio station, if you will. Now, I just wish YouTube would allow us to keep the streams up with the music. That's why I'm thinking eventually to have some Twitch work till they take that down next too. I haven't heard that they've done that yet, though. So,
well, to the 20 or so people watching you right now, I think you're very refreshing to us. And actually, Paul, you're one of my favorite people to watch in the VC.
I truthfully appreciate that on you and everybody here. Mm-hmm. I have the best damn audience in the whole YouTube VC. I don't give a shit what anybody else says. People have tried. I'm not going to mention names. I've had this was old stuff though, okay? Not new. Mm-hmm. People tried to go off and tell me you should ban this, but I'm like, not unless they're going to do some fuckery on my channel. I said, if they're not going to do any fuckery on my channel, I leave them alone. Yeah. Because I love the interaction with the people. See, now you know what you're talking. Yeah, I think they only made one album, but I could be wrong.
here's my honest opinion with the chat is when I go live, I have things I want to say, things I want to show or whatever, and I'll pay attention to the chat, but I'm pretty good at selecting what I want to talk about and what I feel like I should make a big deal out. Or if I see someone's comment and it looks like it's in the middle of a conversation I'm not following, I don't pay it any attention. I focus on what I'm saying because there's more people watching me typically than there are chatting. And I want to focus more on the people who are paying attention to me. I think a lot of live streams in the VC, I'm not going to mention names or anything, but they focus too much on chats. And as a result, shows get a little bit boring and then they run out of material. And then stuff tends to drag on like for a long time. And I can't rewatch a live stream where someone's just going through chats, you know. I mean, I try not really to do that, but
Richard, don't stir a pot, okay? I know how it can go, Richard. I've seen it.
But no, I actually have a little bit of it. I mean, I didn't live in Chicago or anything, but I did go through there a few times. In my early 20s, I actually was in my roommate's band at the time, and he was kind of established, and I just was lucky. And he needed a drummer, and he started to teach me. I used to be a drummer in grade school years, so teaching me wasn't the hardest thing to do. But I also was like sort of a sloppy drummer, but I could get the beat going. He said that I had this coked out caveman style of drumming. And so I really worked well with the style of music. I mean, it was like really kind of a sludgy kind of a, I don't know, Black Sabbath meets Black Flag. I don't know.
Interesting.
No, I mean, we were really just punkish, metalish sounding.
May
stoner
I ask
rock,
what the
maybe.
name was?
We called ourselves Box Elders, but we lived on, and you can actually check this out on, you can check Box Elders up on Discogs because they did put some singles and some records out. I would have been in them before. I was in the era called the Wizards of Izzard, which we lived on Izzard Street at the time. So we called ourselves the Wizards of Izzard, but the project was all the Box Elders songs that you could hear on the record. But no, I went to Chicago, met some really cool people. This would have actually even been around the time Jason Rojas was in Psychedelic Horseshit. And I was trying to...
I like that too.
No, this is crazy though, because I was trying to talk to him a few months back and timeline when if he would have been in Chicago around the same time, because there used to be a big punk fest at I think the Bottleneck in Chicago, and which I would have seen. Yeah, no, no, there was just a bunch of bands, and I was almost wondering. I wonder if your band would have played that show. But I saw the Persuaders, which is, I don't know if you're a Jay Retard fan, but there's a lot of bands called the Persuaders. So, but
yeah, I've heard of the Persuaders. Like are you talking the 60s, 70s?
Complete different Persuade, not the thin line between love and hate Persuaders.
That's what I meant. Sorry,
yeah.
yes.
No, I'm talking to so Jay Retard had I think it may have just been called Persuaders or something like that. But it would have been one of his first bands, and it was their reunion show, like with the original lineup. And I think even at the time, I was just like, could not appreciate what I was witnessing. And then he died a couple years later too. Damn. So, but no, really cool show. Would have seen the Black Lips, who were one of my favorite bands
yes.
from that time. And then they did a bunch of albums on. They did albums. Bump in the Red, that's kind of the era that I was in, and then put out albums on Vice, and I think they're basically a major label album now. I can't really keep up with them, but they've done a lot of stuff. But no, I've had a lot of fun in Chicago, in the punk scene even, and stuff that I honestly, truthfully, probably didn't even deserve. And I got to meet a lot of cool people. King Khan and Barbecue Show, have you ever heard them?
No.
You would probably love them. But they're garage rock, kind of on that In the Red label. So no, I was bumping elbows with a lot of cool people out there, going to parties, and God, there was even like an early YouTube clip of me toe tapping at a King Khan Barbecue Show from like 2004. I'm sure the video's gone, but yeah, I don't know.
I'm a little punk ignorant, I'll admit that. I mean, obviously everybody knows the Sex Pistols, but I had a buddy of mine that was into I had two different people actually that were into punk rock music in the 90s and the O's. And I got to spread out a little bit. I mean, I know, let's see, what was it? I liked the Exploited, and then my other buddy named Spike, me and Spike, that we kind of how should I say this? Bush, when he was vice president, we went just to stir some shit. That's what we were doing. More him than me. And he was coming to this junior college near me, and I don't know how he got the sign in, but he pulled it out and went off and said, "Vote the caucus." The signatures this, and they're like, "You two get the fuck out of here." I'm like, But he would play Circle Jerks, Dead Kennedys. I don't remember who else exactly right off the top of my head, but I liked some of that stuff too.
Yeah.
I mean, Fred Arneson, by the way, I did not know until I heard, and Ramones, that he, I guess, was in a punk band in Chicago in the 90s also, SNL and all that other stuff. One of the biggest Devo fans out there. And I'm like, that's cool. Exploding Hearts.
Yeah, no, this is, speaking of punk, I guess this was handy as I just kind of reached up there. This came out in 2003. This would be the 20th anniversary that was put out by Third Man Records last year. So they got the rights to put this out. And it's got, I think, a few bonus tracks. Sounds like it came out in 1977. But no, actually, you saying that sort of made me reach up for some punk records. So which nice. I have kind of conveniently up here. But no, for real, like one of my favorite genres to listen to, like the Jam. One of my all-time favorite bands. And they're more of like, some people almost call them like a Beatles ripoff in many ways, and a little bit less punk. But then, like, you got the earliest forms of pop punk here with the Buzzcocks, and of course, you might only need singles going steady, which pretty amazing, start to finish. Could put this on at any time and never get sick of these songs.
Yeah, I didn't know about Jam and Buzzcocks till early years of MTV when they would start playing them. I still say my favorite Jam song's "Town Called Malice." I love that damn song.
Yeah, that was like even the last Jam song before he went. What's the name? Style Council. So yeah, no, that was even. I think it was a big hit in a movie. That was like their last kind of hoorah song, and then their biggest hit too. But no, I mean, this songs like "In the City" or this record's incredible. But anyways, yeah.
Black Flag, all kinds of other things. You know what? I'm going to tell you something. Here's a regret in regards to punk. Okay, now I used to listen a lot Chicago radio. I listened to a lot of comedy talk. There was a Loop AM 1000. That was what it was in the late 80s to early O's. And so Kevin Matthews, who was a very popular morning DJ, he somehow befriended, oh God, here we go, Chi Allen. Yeah. And I'm hearing this guy, right? And I'm just going, I'm like, boy, did you just, you crossed the line, burned the line, and shit and threw it and pissed and took your dirty, soiled underwear and stomped all over it. But I was interested. I actually was interested. And for whatever reason, why he was on there in the first place, because he was going to do a gig that night, which he did end up doing in Chicago. And I'm just sitting here and I'm going, I'm like, I so want to go. I so want to go. I so want to go. I regret not going to see Chi.
Yeah.
I know he was a fucked up individual, but who isn't? So,
hey, I'm gonna refill my coffee real quick.
Yeah, you do that, and then when you come back, I'm gonna do the same thing.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I love. I love having all of you people here, and Richard and Fred. You know, just I know you guys could be copacetic. Hot dog water. Wait a minute. That reminds me of that Limp Bizkit album title. And what about I don't know. Hot dog water. Oh, hush. Dave, the pickup artist, hoof-hearted. Wasn't that a song from Extreme? Just kidding. Anyways, okay. Your turn to gab for a minute.
Okay. Well, welcome everyone. It is Dr. Frankenstein here, chilling with you on a Wednesday evening. I guess I see some new people. Shout out to Fred Dobbs, Kimba. I think I saw Dave, the pickup artist. So, and everyone else. I'm a coffee drinker at night, like my friend Paul. So while we don't always have maybe, the most exact common music taste, we can at least find a common ground on drinking coffee at night. And I think as a result, we seem to have a good conversation anyway. But that's some hot coffee. So just got some vanilla flavored coffee. And what I like to do is sometimes I'll get the flavored coffee if it's a little cheaper, and then I'll mix it with like the shitty Maxwell's flavor, because then you get you can turn a shitty Maxwell's coffee, which is cheap in itself. And if you can get that Starbucks vanilla gourmet shit, mix it together, you get a good happy medium. You know what I'm talking about, Paul?
Actually, yeah, I've done that before. I'm still working on the pumpkin spice. I'm in the last bag that I paid $2 for.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I just got some Starbucks vanilla was like $8, $7 or $8, which for Starbucks coffee, I'll go ahead and splurge on that. I'll call that some splurging, but I got my Sun Records mug going tonight. I see you got the Waffle House.
Nice. Yeah, I know. It's because it's the biggest cup I've got. That's why it did. Yeah.
I've only been to a Waffle House one time, and I was passing through St. Louis on my way to Memphis.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
So actually, just talking about Chicago punk, that sort of show I went to. That's kind of the same thing I did down in Memphis. But one thing I wanted to do was check out the Stax Museum.
Yes.
And that's kind of something that I did on the last day. We did a lot of cool stuff on the last day. So I did go to the Stax Museum, which was cool. I mean, it's kind of corporate, and it's not like a museum of the history of Stax. It's soul music, all like from gospel music to basically present times. Talks about Motown, Northern Soul as well. So not just Stax and stuff like that. But no, this was, ironically enough, it was Easter Sunday. We were there. It was my band, which at the time they're basically my friends. I wasn't in the band, but we were all in Memphis at the same time, and it was Easter Sunday, and everyone's basically like passed out from partying the night before. But my old roommate Dave told me to set my alarm, and he said, no matter what, he's like, wake me up. We're going to Al Green's church tomorrow. And I'm like, okay. And I set my alarm. Alarm goes off, and I say, all right, Dave, alarm went off. I'm like, we're going. And he was out of it, asleep. And I thought he started to be like, nah, no. And then like suddenly he just was like, fuck it. And he just like rose from the dead, basically. And we jumped in my car, went down to his church. And I mean, I think he was totally, we were both probably looking out of it, totally waking up and, sleep in our eyes and everything. But no, it was a really cool experience. And
nice.
And the cool thing about Al Green is he knows who his guests are. And I mean, he knows who his regulars are, but when you walk in and you're like maybe one of 5 white guys in the whole church, he knows you're there to visit him.
Yep.
Yeah. So, because his son, Al Green Jr., when we got there, he was singing. So he was the one who was singing. We didn't hear Al Green sing, but no, Al Green, I mean, he's the preacher of the church. He got up there, and as soon as his son was done singing, he kind of looked around to in the audience, and he saw me and my old roommate Dave walking late. We're sitting in the back, and then he sees us, and he points to us, and he waves, it was awesome. Like, getting a little wave there from Al Green. But I mean, he knew we were guests. I mean, probably the only two white guys attending church in Memphis, Tennessee that day, but or one of the few. But cool experience, and then his band, of course, was amazing. But yeah, I don't know if any of you are ever in Memphis, or I don't know how far away are you from Memphis in Arkansas?
That's a good question. That's a good question, Will. Let's see.
Because I would recommend, if you can get there, check out his church. I mean, he's still alive.
See, I forgot all about that. I'm glad you brought that up. So it's like another thing to the itinerary because the only things I had set up for the moment in thought was, of course, I know Sun is more sanitized now. I understand that. I wish I could have seen it in the 70s, but whatever. But Sun, Stax, isn't there another museum of music out there?
Graceland.
And I have no desire. I'm an Elvis fan, but I have no desire because I hate to say this. I have a buddy that was an Elvis fan, and there would be books from that gift shop, and there was pictures of like every room. And I'm like, all right, I saw it. Now I want to take a picture in front of the gates. That I do want to do, I'm like, okay, other than that, and then go to Al Green's church. And then I don't know what the Memphis record store scene is over there, but I'd go in the surrounding areas.
I wasn't impressed by the record scene when I was there. Now, of course, that was back in 2008. So it's probably a lot different now. No, I think I was seeing the band, the Black Lips. The funny thing about the Black Lips were my favorite band at that time. I'd probably seen them in more cities than any other band. But they played at a record store, and I did go in there. I don't remember the biggest selection. And then I think I made a special point to check out what Stax records they actually had in their store, because I wanted to see like how hard it was to find that stuff, or finding Stax records in Memphis was pretty easy. And I think across the board, anything they had, I could find in Omaha, any of those 45. So I don't think it was because Stax was still a really huge label even before they merged with Atlantic. I mean, they still had national distribution, and in many ways were one of the biggest labels in the whole country. So finding their stuff isn't particularly hard. But
right, there's one album I'm looking for. One, and get this, it's not a soul artist, but here's how. So have you ever heard of a band called the Nobody Else?
No, I haven't.
So the Nobody Else was 1969 Black Oak, Arkansas. And it doesn't sound like Black Oak. It's a combination. It's like spiritual Eastern psych. There's like blues a little bit, a whole bunch of amalgamation of things. And I haven't even heard it on YouTube because I want to be surprised. Now I do have the reissue early times, but I'm like, well, that's fine. Which Stax put out. I'm like, that's fine and dandy, but I wanted original OG.
Did Stax put that out?
Back in 69.
Oh, okay.
They did end up like cutting a 45 or 2 on Hip, which is, I think, a subsidy. I think the biggest one that I don't have too many Hip 45s in my collection. The oh God, what the hell was their name? It was an interesting girl group too. I don't know if I'm going to get this right. The Goodies, Condition Red. That's a cool song. It's very odd. It's almost Leader of the Packish, but imagine 1970. And I'm going, this is a little out of place, but I like it.
Yeah.
So that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would say Memphis, if you love music, definitely worth your time to check it out. Kind of a little bit of a tourist trap in a way, but there are some things that you're going to want to cross off your bucket list for sure. So,
didn't know that, Kimba. That's good to know. Yeah, definitely. Like I said, there's a whole bunch of places. Like the other ones are not. Yes, I know they're going to be all tourist traps, but I don't care. I still would like. Speaking of Chicago, I know they went off and they put a museum type thing in Chess Studios. I'd love to go. I tried walking there once. I'm serious. I tried walking down to Chess, and yeah, I won't tell you that story today. But so
Okay.
yeah, I want to go see that, and then I want to go to Muscle Shoals so that
Yeah,
I
I'd
can
love
go
to
see the
Muscle
Fame
Shoals too. Yeah.
Studios. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then I'm a big Buddy Holly fan, so yeah, I want to go to Lubbock. I want to go there, and then after that, I want to go to Clovis, New Mexico, because I want to go see the Petty Studios and they sell all kinds of stuff there. That's there too. And then I'm trying to think. There was another place I wanted to go to. I don't know, but there's a whole bunch of different music related things I want to see because there's not that much left. A lot of it got all destroyed in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s,
Yeah.
you know.
No, I know like New York City has a lot like 5 Points they tore down and replaced it with like corporate office buildings or
Really,
apartment
I
buildings or
didn't know
something.
that. I shouldn't even know what you're talking about, but I do because I've seen it enough from
Yeah.
TV and movies and stuff.
Yeah, no, there was
Wow.
a big controversy that like they wanted to leave it up as like an art piece, but then the corporate oligarchs said fuck no, and I mean to them it's an eyesore, you
Uh,
know. So and they see it as like, well, we need to put something up to make money here, and it's New
mm,
York City,
yeah.
but no, I mean you're right. A lot of that stuff is we're losing a lot of that stuff every day,
Yeah.
and I mean, it's even being replaced, even with just like small little you know pieces of memorabilia that people can
Right. Um
share a memory over.
yeah, exactly. Um Damn it, where the hell? Oh, I have no desire. I was trying to figure my train of thought. This also is what happens when you get to be my age, guys.
It's
I
you
have
live stream, no worries.
I have no desire to go to NYC, but I do have Facebook friends in Syracuse and the surrounding areas. So I do want to go torture a bunch of there's a bunch of cool record stores over there. I got a buddy of mine who's a DJ. You know what? I'm going to throw an unexpected commercial. Wax Museum with Ronnie Dark.
Hmm.
You can listen to it through the internet, of course, and it's Love Radio Syracuse. I think it's like 88.1 if I remember correctly, and they're on Sundays from 6 to 9 p.m. Central. And it's run by three guys. They are the coolest three guys I've ever known outside of, in New York there. And they will play occasional hits, ringers he likes to call them, but most of the time, sorry, I heard a thud.
Oh, you're fine.
Toby, are you getting into something? Jeez. She looks a little guilty. Anyways, but they play, Ronnie's show plays all kinds of things from the 50s to now, and it's all vinyl. That's all it is. It's all vinyl.
Yeah, no, there's
Yes,
WFMU out there in New York or New Jersey out there actually,
I've
which is
heard of that
yeah,
station. Yeah.
very popular, very cool. I know. I think Mazzy actually went out to that WFMU record show. Maybe I heard about it. I've only heard stories,
Right. I've
but
heard
no,
it's huge.
yeah, no, yeah, New York. I was last there 2008. So no, I did Memphis and New York in 2008 when I was in college. And New York is one of those towns for me once every 10 years or 15 years, which it's been about that long anyway. But oh God, it's like when I mean, you go to New York for vacation and then you need a vacation from your vacation, or even coming home from New York is a vacation. Like, not even kidding. New York is such a zoo. I wanted to get the fuck out of there. And super expensive food. And then you just crime. Like, yeah, you don't know if you run into a crackhead or if you're going to get hit by a car.
Or both.
I was hanging out at the Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. And if looking for a ticket to get into the game, and all kinds of stuff you're seeing. And then I remember my first day in the city, New York City, get off the subway, getting into the Bronx, and head up the stairs. And the first thing I see is an SUV crash right into a guy walking across the street.
Holy crap!
Yeah. No, the things in the week that I was there, the things I saw in New York City, it is not a joke. And I was like, I had nightmares while I was sleeping there. Like, yeah, I was.
Damn.
New York is not for everybody. That is for sure.
Yeah. See, like I said, I've never been there. Now Chicago, at least back in the 90s, was okay. I wouldn't touch it now.
Yeah, no, Chicago's no different anymore. It's like Seattle and San Francisco are basically the same cities. I wouldn't. Yeah, no, and I live in Omaha, and we're just now starting to. I mean, we've been experiencing that struggle. It's almost as though like, Seattle, San Francisco, New York, Chicago, all these major cities in the country, just now, the smaller cities are now picking up the tab for all that stuff. So, yeah.
One of these days, I got to get out to Omaha. There's a lot of places I haven't been to. I've been here 17 years, and I'm ashamed to say I haven't even been to Texas.
Oh,
I haven't.
Yeah, I haven't
and
been
like
to Texas
the shortest
in
is
probably
5-hour
17 years.
drive.
Yeah.
Denton would be 5 hour. That's like the closest,
Oh,
up.
geez. You
Yeah.
can be in Texas and you're still, 9 hours away from a city you want to get to. Like
That's what
if
I'm
you want to go
told.
to Corpus Christi, Texas, for me, okay, so it's like what, about 10 to 12 hours to get to Texas. It's like 19 hours if I want to go to Corpus Christi,
Shit.
which is one of the greatest, not one of the coolest, nicest cities in all of Texas, which I've been to.
Oh, now you show up. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, and gosh, I haven't been to Texas in like 17 years, but I mean, lots of great music in Texas, all over the state. And one thing I was going to mention though about New York, as far as records go, I think you're probably in a better spot to find records in Arkansas than in New York. I almost feel like you go to New York, you're going to be paying a lot more for your records.
Yeah. Okay. I want this to happen, but I'm trying to get enough people to do it because my buddy Doug Fields, host of the Vinyl Grotto radio show, he's my best buddy here in town, and I'm just like, how many years has it been since this area's had a record show? And he's like, well. He's pretty laid back. Well, the next town over, maybe about 10 years. I'm going, there's a 10 years of difference. Yeah. And I know he's going to be watching this too. He always watches the replays. And I'm like, I just wish that we could get enough people because I have a lot of different Facebook groups. Arkansas Vinyl Collectors is one. I'm shouting them out. We got an NWA Vinyl Buy, Sell, Trade. And I'm just like, there's got to be enough people. Like, okay, the Carthage, Missouri show that I went to, we had 50 dealers in this small memorial hall. It didn't do as good as it should, surprisingly enough, but there was a lot of people. They did get, in my opinion, a lot of foot traffic compared to the last record show from 5 years ago. And I'm sitting here, Northwest Arkansas. I live in a town that is, but I want to say 150,000 now. Seriously. And I'm like, you got that one. Fayetteville's a college town. It's only 20 minutes away. You've got maybe 500,000 people, I would say, within a 25, 50-mile radius. I think it's time to try again, especially if we can get even if it's a stupid, I don't know, a smaller, cheaper hotelish, just rent the room and see what the hell happens.
Yeah.
And if we get enough, then good. We do it once every couple months. I know a place like Springfield, Missouri, they do them every other month.
Yeah. So see, some cities can get away with it a little bit more than others. Now, I was going to mention, I think there's something like past Kansas City a little bit. Like I would have to drive maybe 5 or 6 hours, but I was going to say there is a well-known record show in that area. Like you might have to travel like an hour or two, it sounds like, to it. But I mean, there are people who are willing to travel to find their records. Um, but no, I mean, that's the thing is like, you might be onto something. It's like you build it, they will come. And that's sometimes all you need is to get a record show and get the word out. And people are, well, we've been waiting for this. But
Yeah.
no, I will mention this is I've had 3 record shows in the last month, and they have not been what I expect normally. Usually I can set up at a record show and make an easy $1,000 without trying.
Sure.
If I'm really planning out my my crates and going through stuff, I can get close to or over 2,000. And then in 3 record shows in a month's time, yeah, I want to do at least over 5,000, and it has not been like that. I can't explain it. I know that when I went to St. Joseph, Missouri, I did 300, but it was also on St. Patrick's Day, and the hotel that they
You're
were.
talking about this year?
Yeah, no, it was just like a month ago. Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Let me explain for 2 seconds. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah.
Okay, so like, oh God, that weekend, all
Mhm.
right, because I went to go to Dig It Record Barn in Joplin, all
Mhm.
right, and that guy said, when I said, well, I'll probably be hopefully coming back, like it was 2-3 Saturdays later from the Carthage one,
Mhm.
and he goes, oh, you're going to go to the St. Joe record show? I'm like, no offense, no, that's a little too far
Yeah.
out. It was about the band Missouri. Some of the band members of the band Missouri were going to be there, which unfortunately I didn't feel too good. But that's when he blurted out St. Joe. So I mean, that's cool that you go over there. But I
Yeah.
understand where you're going on this. You know your action plan. If
Oh,
you're
yeah.
going into a record show, you better have at least a half-ass at least record plan. I have to make, sure, you want to interact with the customers. Yes, you want the foot traffic. Yes, you should hopefully try to be kind and courteous to everybody. That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
But you have to have the minimum bottom line. And the reason, that's another thing, I had a learning experience at that Carthage show in early March. I had to sit there. I got done sooner than my friend. He was in there probably for about another 60, 90 minutes, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to bitch. He was driving, and he also was looking for me, but that's besides the point. So the thing is that I actually valued that time because several of the dealers took smoke breaks, and I just happened to be in smoker's corner. I don't smoke, but each one of them that I'm talking to, one was from Missouri, one was from Kansas, came from Wilmington, Illinois, which is south of Joliet.
Yeah.
And they all were there at this thing, and they all said, while they're like, here's the thing, I like being here. The Illinois guy said this. He goes, if I can't make another $300 in the next 2.5 hours before it closes, no offense, I love you guys, but it's not financially viable for me to come back. And he wasn't the only one to say that. And I'm like, oh shit.
It's true. Because when I went down to St. Joseph, Missouri, it's 2 hours, and I mean, I'll travel a couple hours to go find records and buy records. But like when you go to a show and you're driving 2 hours, you want to make a significant. I mean, doing $300 on Discogs is great in one day. That's great. Going to a record show, traveling 2 hours, not worth your time. Yeah, no, you want to do at least $1,000 at these shows.
Yeah.
And this is something where because people come to these and like you're saying, like how you were just kind of saying, we need to have a record show in this area or something like that. When you have stuff like that and you set up an event like that, people come with money, ready to spend, wanting to spend.
Yeah.
And the one in St. Joseph, good thing you didn't go, not worth your time. It ended up being vendors buying from vendors.
Oh,
and
geez.
I spent $160 before I even got my first sale.
Damn.
And I was like, yeah. And I didn't even bring that much cash on me because I was like, sometimes I'll do that to avoid spending money. And then I just got to this guy's table and I'm like, I can't not buy these records because they were so cheap. And it's like, but then I was like, all right, well, I got to get sales then. And then it ended up being, I sold 300 and I bought $300 worth of records. And then I drove 2 hours to drive there, 2 hours to drive back.
Yeah.
Plus gas and everything. just to break even at it. So technically losing money to go out of town for a record show.
Yeah.
And you never want to do that.
That's true.
And
That is true. I mean, I've never, eventually, I don't know if I'll ever end up getting to be the point where, yeah, I'm going to get an 8-foot table or a 4-foot and see what happens. I usually just with the record stores is usually what I do, but
yeah.
I don't go in stupid with a box of records, because the funny part about it is the guy I sell them to, I'll go off ahead of time and I'll say, well, this time around, we got a bunch of goodies. I got a still sealed album from the late 60s. You got a nice white promo psych record right there, kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Because I do that on purpose, because I'm like, you can't lowball me now, because I
Yep.
kind of know what I'm looking at, and you better hit right in the pocket. And with trade, it ends up being it satisfies me, and I'm happy with that. But that show in Carthage, there was another reason why I went, and I don't know if you heard one of my past shows. There was a new vinyl seller coming from OKC, John Humphrey, the drummer of Seether. And I'm going, what? And I'm like, so I got to talk to him for a few minutes before it got real crazy. And I couldn't find my damn disclaimer CD. I couldn't find any of that shit. I actually had to go to Walmart on the fly and go buy that new
man,
messed up, but I don't care. I wanted to bring something. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and I even said, look, I'm sorry, man. I couldn't find my other ones. He goes, it's all right. He goes, and then he looks, he goes, oh, it's out already? He's looking at this. And I'm like, yes, it's out already. And he's just like, but I asked him, and I said, John, how many years have you been collecting? And he had some choice stuff. I bought some stuff from his booth. And he's like, 30 years. And I'm like,
oh, wow,
30 years. I said, what got you started? And he says, it's kind of a long story, but let's just face it. My parents listening to those, and I'm like, bingo. I said, that's in our generation, that's how it is. But hopefully, maybe before Seether goes on tour, because he said, yes, if I could get the equipment. Now I got the equipment. Let's have him on, and we'll talk vinyl and see. Then you could come up after the thing, and everybody could go. But that's the thing, though. So it's all economics and being reasonable. But the interaction, I missed that shit during the COVID nonsense. I like people. I just, like you said, though, at New York City, though, I couldn't deal with that many people. I mean, I don't get scared. I've never got scared at concerts. I've been to a concert, 20,000 people. That doesn't actually bother me. But it's like, I don't know what my limit is, for God's sakes.
Well, and New York is a different type of person, Depending on what city you're in, you're going to, it's all relative wherever you're at. I can say this. I'm a different type of person living in Omaha as opposed to Seattle. So,
okay, you know what? You got me, Jim, on this, because I did see, everybody knows that I put weird titles to my videos, partially because people will go, what the fuck's going to be the title? Which we already explained. I'm going to go through this real quick, though. So we were finishing off here. We had for
1 second here.
Mr. Yeah, that's fine. For Mr. Robbie Patton. And so we ended up produced by Christine McVie and Robbie Patton. And of course we had Bob Weston, Lindsey Buckingham, Christine McVie are all over this album. As far as that's concerned, I think, and Bob Welch too. So you've got several different members, former members of Fleetwood Mac, and this came out in 1981. Now, right or wrong, you were asking, Jim, what the whole right or wrong bit. So I kind of fudged a little. I mean, the artist actually sang a song called Right or Wrong, but we're going to go with a early queen of rockabilly, if you will. Maybe you'll know what I'm talking about. Oh, God, not Bonaducci. Yeah, that's going to be a future episode of Jukebox from Hell, trust me. But we're talking Wanda Jackson. Now, I know this isn't the Right or Wrong LP, but why did I get this Christian album? You see, because after she did the rockabilly, she went and became a born again Christian and became, cut Christian albums for a while, and then has put out the last album or two that she's done in the last few years. She's retired now, of course, due to health concerns. But like Jack White was involved and other people. I think Joan Jett maybe even cut a track with her. But why did I get this? These were all a buck because I know you can't see this very well, but the autograph. Yes. So a signed Wanda Jackson. So I couldn't pass that up. That's the right or wrong portion. Now, the last portion of this, are you ready? Are you ready is not Creed. I know that maybe some of you people were like, huh? We're going to go kind of stupid here a little bit. Terry DeSario on Casablanca. Now, I never found this album. Look how sultry she is. But the people that are on this thing, though, is what kind of struck me quite interesting in a way. Now, we already know that KC, from KC and the Sunshine Band, Mr. Howard Casey himself, is not only on their cover of Barbara Mason's Are You Ready?, which was the big hit off of this album, but he is on several different songs on here. You also happen to have Maxine and Julia Waters are on here too, singing background. You also have Al Siner. He was, of course, in Rufus, a later version of Three Dog Night, and an original member of American Breed. Snuffy Walden's another one that's been a studio guitar player for quite a while. Also, of course, Casey's on keyboards too. Dennis Belfield also was in Rufus and the Three Dog Night lineup for the last album, and American Breed. So he was around quite a while too. Paulino DaCosta, my God, he's been all over the place, but mainly I know from Chicago records. Just kind of interesting stuff here. And then you've got the Brecker brothers. You got one of them playing, and along with Jerry Hay, who he's also been a very famous one too. So yeah, and I know this is going to sound kind of weird, but Casablanca has always been kind of strange. And it's not just because of Kiss and Angel. All right. In fact, I'm kind of looking, and I know some of you people are going to roll your eyes.
Parliament.
Parliament. Very good. Yes, I'm looking. You know what? The very few times that I have come across a Parliament album, they are all destroyed.
It is what it is, man.
It pisses me off.
It's like, what was I just saying about that Osmosium Record Store Day release? You can never have too many of those Parliament albums. But I did want, not to change the subject on you, but since you were showing off your signed Wanda Jackson record, I wanted to show off mine as well.
Oh, look at you. See?
Yeah.
That's nice. That's nice.
And you'll see the 2006 there. That's when I saw her. I think it was like February 2006. And
sweet.
I didn't know a lot about her. I just knew of her, knew she was the queen of rockabilly. And I just figured, this is the show. This is a good show to go see. Mm-hmm. I worked at Homer's in the Old Market at the time, and they played a show like upstairs above this like sushi bar.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
And so it was like a really small, intimate setting. And she's really short. She was like 5 feet tall, or I don't know.
Wow.
Maybe because I know like the older you get, you do kind of shrink a little bit. But she was cool. It was good to hear those songs. I mean, you're not gonna, it's not gonna be like 1956 Wanda Jackson or anything like that.
I mean, she's still around, damn it, though. That's the thing. There's not that many 50s people around anymore.
Right. Yeah, no, you are not wrong about that.
She's got a book I want to get, and if you get it through her official website, I am told she'll sign it. So I do want that too. And I heard there's some interesting stories in that thing too.
Oh yeah, no, she's
Wanda. Beautiful.
Yeah. No, I'll have to look out for that. I'm sure she has some of the wildest rock and roll stories.
Now that Wanda that I showed, okay, this is how I know that sometimes in this area, and I haven't done a lot of research, but I look at specific albums because I know that these people did appearances either at the small clubs that were here or the churches. And Wanda did perform at a church somewhere here in Northwest Arkansas, because that album I showed, that's the third signed Wanda Jackson. that I have come across, and I'm like,
Yeah.
and it's all of them are slightly different. So I'm like, it's ballpoint pen for God's sakes. But the
Yeah.
thing is I'm
Yeah.
just like, I almost felt like the Oprah. You get a Wanda Jackson. You get a Wanda. Everybody in the damn studio gets a
Yeah.
Wanda. But no, I gave some to friends, and so I'm like, I got this one. I don't know who I'm going to give this one to, but yeah.
Yeah, as an artist, I've seen artists sort of make that mistake, and you autograph too much, and you don't want to do that. You don't want people coming across your work one day and every single record they find is autographed, because I mean it's cool. Don't get me wrong, autographed items, but
Yeah.
I mean if everything that you have has an autograph on it, which by the way, I'm looking for another autograph.
Sure.
To show, because I have shown it, I believe, but oh, here we go. Yeah, give me a second here.
Okay.
There we go. This one's really cool. This is hip hop. You're into hip hop, right?
A little. I've
A
dipped
little.
my toes in the water some. I like the 80s rap, but I have heard the 90s, and when I was at that college town, I did deal with a handful of rap artists and such. What you got?
Yeah, so well, no, this is gonna be late 80s. So and excuse me, maybe trying to build up a story here, but I'll just go ahead and show it. No, I got this. Chuck D from Public Enemy spoke at Nebraska Wesleyan University, and I mean, I just happen to have, this is a sealed copy that I just so happen to have. And so it's like, and this is an original press too. You can't, it's like how you were saying that you had to go get that Seether CD. Like you can't just go out and get an OG
right
87 first Public Enemy and have him sign it. But like my DJ name back then was Dollar Bill. I said, I want to let you, I told Chuck D, I was like, I'm letting you know that I'm not going to sell this. So I asked him kindly, will you sign to Dollar Bill so that it's specifically to me. But yeah, very cool, because my favorite Public Enemy record too.
Nice.
And yeah, no, this is very awesome. Like kind of when I was really getting into hip hop, college years, and cool experience. My mom told me never to listen to Public Enemy, and here I am holding a sign.
We never listened to our parents. Yeah. Thank God, at least for the music. Thank God. Thank God for that.
But yeah, no, shout out to Nathaniel Mars, who played this on his channel recently in full. It was a fun little...
His Secret Spins, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I actually have gone in and out on some of those things. It's cool.
No, it's cool, and it's like I have sometimes like that part of the day I'll be getting orders ready or whatever. So, just keeping my phone open, or if I'm around town, that's sometimes what I'll do, like check into a live stream. I'll tell you, there's sure a lot of live streams these days, though. It's almost like, yeah, I know. There's some days where it's like, it's one after another, live stream. And this is actually the first VC live stream I've seen all night. So.
Oh, wow. Maybe they, I'm trying to think what if anything significant was going on tonight. I don't know.
I think Wednesday's just a slow night, which actually Wednesday should be a big night, but,
yeah. I try to do them on Wednesdays. I really, really do. I'm not going to lie, guys. I mean, I'm just stating, this is for just stating that sometimes I've been dealing with, sometimes I just don't want to do anything. Not just this, anything. And it's like, I have to, and I'm like, today, and I'm just like, Paul, you motherfucker, pull yourself up from that bootstraps. Get your shit done, and then guess what? You love being on here for everybody. You're gonna be, you're not gonna regret it, and I didn't regret it one bit. And I'm glad that I love you. I love you guys. I mean it, and I'm just, it's all there is to it. But that Public Enemy, that's kick ass on that bit. I would have loved to see.
Yeah, that was back when 2008 finding hip hop records was not hard, and. No, and that I was working at Homer's, and the guy brought in a box of hip hop records. So it's just like when I was the manager there, it's just like getting that stuff first dibs was always a perk. But
yeah, The few stories I have now, I DJ'd at WCRX, which is 88.1 FM Chicago. It's completely to the left of the dial. I was known as Psycho DJ back then, and there some things I got to see ahead of time. Like we ended up having a listening party, if you will, for some new band that just came out named Outcast and Stankonia. And I'm telling you, that was an interesting experience. I had fun. Somewhere in these damn, like, I've got a signed album flat from that. Let's
That's
see.
pretty awesome. Yeah.
Yes, they were not. You know what? Why can't they make a Why can't they make a new record? Why? I'm just like, it's been too long.
Well, I mean, they went and did kind of split off into their own thing, and I think that's
Yeah.
kind of was the end of it because, I mean, Andre 3000 first had his mainstream success, and then Big Boy kind of went off and had his own thing a few years, maybe a decade later. So I feel like they both had, like, Andre had his success first. Big Boy had kind of his big break a little bit later on. What big hits was he on, though? Because he was on some really big like I want to say even recently, even that
See, yeah, I'm
gonna have to
sorry. I'm
fact
starting to
check.
run on fumes now here,
No,
and that's my fault.
No, I know I found a Big Boy project. It was called Big Grams, and it was like just supposed to be some sort of, I don't know, some out of the ordinary Big Boy project. I listened to it and I didn't love it like Outkast, but I mean it was just God, I wouldn't even know how to describe it at this point. I mean, I only really listened to it once, and I don't know.
And then there was another time that the seventh floor is pretty much in the building I was at in downtown Chicago for Columbia. We had two buildings, and so the seventh floor was our classrooms and studios and stuff like that. It turned out that I can't remember what radio station was it, CFL had that studios at one point or another. Point is, I'm up there and getting ready to do, to pick up on whatever the teach was coming in or whatever. And then I heard, "Hey, Outcast is downstairs in the what? They just were here." And I'm like, "Tell Beth," we knew her by her first name, my teacher. I go, "Tell Beth, I'll be back. It's station business." And I ran downstairs. I had no problem getting in the lobby, and I'm talking to Sarah, the one behind the desk. I'm like, "All right, listen, who's really here? It can't be Outcast." She gives me that look. She like, "Where the fuck are you talking?" I'm going, "That's just what I heard upstairs, seventh floor over, And she's like, "Not Outcast." And I go, "Well, who is it?" She goes, "Outlaws." And I'm going, "Tupac's project?" "Yes." And I'm going, "Ooh." And I'm like, they had, you could hear from the lobby what the show is going. They're like, they're only going to be on for a couple more minutes. You want to hang? I'm going. So I sat in the corner. Oh my God. Okay. It's gotta be I'm sorry about this. Anytime between 99 and early 01.
Okay, that sounds about right.
God. Anyways, so I'm just sitting here. And I'm the only one, by the way. I thought maybe there'd be other, but nope, I'm the only one. And I'm just like, okay. So they come out, and I'm, "Hey, how are you? You'll work here." And I hate to say this, like, okay, you see the videos and you see some of the concerts, over the years. That was the first time. Now it was cold, so it had to have been, early winter, maybe, I don't know. But there was one of the band members had a Detroit Lions jacket, okay, and it was unzipped, and he turns for a second to talk to one of the other guys in the band, and I saw the piece tucked in, and I'm going, "Holy shit, this is for real." I'm going, I always thought, nope, he was carrying a legit piece. And I'm like, I knew right then and there not to fuck with these people. And so they had these promo postcards. So I got it signed somewhere in a box. I've got all of them. But I'm like, yeah. And then as far as for not hip hop, the only other one I got to briefly talk to was Gladys Knight. So
nice.
Yeah, she was doing a book signing.
Yeah. No, I've other than Chuck D, I've had a few run-ins. Common, the rapper.
Yes, thank you. His first album.
Yeah.
It was in, oh my God. I could picture it, the DePaul
Can I
Center.
buy $1?
Huh? The first album?
By Common?
Do you have the cover? I know right off the bat.
I got a copy of it actually. Keep talking. Let me find this real quick. I'll find it for you.
And I'm just like, Common, and I'm like,
in Chicago, yeah.
Why not? I'm like, why not? I'll figure this out. So I stood in line. The line was not that big. I mean, I probably only had to wait half hour, and I got up there, and he was nice as could be. And I bought the CD and he signed it. And that, once again, I don't know where the hell half of my stuff is, but to flash forward, and I don't remember the timeline on this, and I'm like, I'm walking on Upper Wacker Drive, because you have Upper Wacker and Lower Wacker. All right. And there's a bunch of people looking over onto Lower, and I'm going, what's going on? And they're like, Common shooting a video. And I'm going, oh. And I'm just hanging for a few minutes.
Yeah.
And then who the hell pulls up in a limo and opens up the door? But it is, oh boy, it was Diddy.
Oh wow! Oh geez.
And
that's a name that's come up recently, hasn't it?
Right. And one of the people blurted out, Diddy, and I'm going, and he actually he chuckled and waved at the guy up there. Yeah. But I guess he was there. I don't know if he was going to appear in the damn video or what, because I didn't have time to stick around, unfortunately. I stayed like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
That
guy?
Yeah, that looks about right. Yeah, but not that cover.
Yeah, no, okay. Well, I'm looking for the one.
I want to say it was a brown or black cover, but his face is on it.
Yeah,
I'm out of it right now.
And I have a few of them. I'm just looking for the one. I know I had it. Well, I was sort of even just showing off hip hop records at random on random days on my channel without really rhyme or reason to it. And so now everything's just sort of spread out here. Give me a second, but. So in Chicago, in New York City, 2008, as I was leaving, I was at the airport, and I just missed my flight leaving out of New York, and I'm waiting at the airport, and I finally check in to where finally check in. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good.
To wherever they call it, the terminal where I'm supposed to wait to to hang out, and
the lounge.
I'm exhausted. Yeah, I'm exhausted, and I'm 2008 total fucking hipster wearing my Chuck Taylors, walking around New York City. Feet are tired. I'm exhausted. I want to go to bed. I want to fall asleep. That's all I can think about. Anyway, I'm setting my stuff down, my bags, and I'm just ready to like chill and sit down. And then I start to sit down, and I look in front of me, and now at the time, legit, I am a huge fan. Common is like my favorite MC. And looking in front of me, he's sitting right there in the airport at the terminal. Same. God damn it, I can't find it now. But no, same. I thought I was gonna be riding the same plane as him. It was that close, which we didn't get on the same flight because I had a layover. But now I can't find it. But no, Common Sense. Can I borrow $1? Is his first one.
Okay.
But when I met him, I scared the crap out of him. Like I was that big of a fan, and I was like, "Wait a second, you're Common." And what's the comment I just made? Like where my Chuck Taylor's all over New York City like a hipster. Well, I said to Common, I'm like, "Hey, wait a second, you're Common." And he says to me, he's like, "Oh yeah, are you a hipster?" Yeah. No, awesome. No, here's Common right here. This is Finding Forever, which I just kind of had laying around here. But I mean, he scared the crap out of him. But then at the same time, he caught on pretty quickly that I was a real fan. And I was talking to him about his career, his albums. I mean, one of the most surreal experiences of my life. I was actually even trying to pull up my Instagram account because I can show you the photo if you want to give me a moment here.
Sure.
So give me might take me a second. I got to make sure I'm logged into the right account and all that. So, but yeah, no, a crazy experience. And here we go. I think I can show you here. So this is not the Pumping Vinyl account, but I should be able to present a share screen. Let me know. Let me know if I
okay.
Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay.
Nice.
So there you go. Yeah, no, that's the photo of me and Common at it's New York's LaGuardia Airport. This would have been like Memorial Day weekend. And yeah, no, I think he may have been in New York filming a movie, and really cool for him to agree to a photo. Look at the smile on my face. Just absolute cheesing. And like I want to describe to you that my mood, like, okay, so I was staying with a friend in Hackensack, New Jersey, and I was late. I was supposed to get back to her place the night before, and I had missed my bus. And anyway, this whole whirlwind of events made it so I missed my flight. But had this not happened, I would not have run into Common. And I did have him sign a CD, which I guess if I have time, I could find that if you would like to see it. But really crazy experience. And I guess now that you've seen that photo, excuse me.
Very nice.
Now you got my backstage going on there. I'm sorry, but there we go.
There we go. Mm-hmm.
This is the first Common Sense. Can I borrow $1? Which very old school sounding, came out in '92. Doesn't sound like, I don't know, more of those golden age beats that they would call them. Some people would call this golden age too, but this sounds like, more of an old school, maybe like he was breakdancing. That was his big thing. So, I mean, he was really into that kind of breakdancing style of hip hop before he really.
It's the one. Okay. So then, yeah, it's not that. It's whatever came out around 96, 97.
One day it'll all make sense. I don't think I have a copy of that at the moment.
But still, needless to say, everybody's talking about short. I know Stevie Ray Vaughan was very short, 5'5". John Oates was probably shorter. Yes, actually, I got to meet John. He was. You know what? I'm going to tell you something, guys. I've heard many reports that even though Daryl Hall was a really good singer and songwriter, he was the jerk of the two. Okay, I think we could admit that he was an ass. I'd rather deal with John any day of the week, and he was nice, and he's got solo albums too, so go check him out.
We could have a whole live stream dedicated to a-holes in the music industry. What's up, Beetle Babe?
Davy Jones was still. Oh, I'll tell you, Davy. The 2 times I met, he was short, but what? I mean, lovable. And yes, I'll say that I'm a grown ass man. He was still good looking even in 2005.
Yeah, I know. Beetle Babe's a shorty. I think she's like 5 feet tall or something. We had that conversation, I think.
All right. So here, I hate to do this to you, Pete. 4'11". Yeah, my wife,
Oh, geez.
my late wife was 4'10". She was
Oh,
just an
wow.
inch shorter, and I'll
How
admit,
tall are you?
5'11".
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I guess I've dated a girl like a foot tall. I'm 6'3", 6'4", so
Okay.
5'3", 5'4". Yeah, that's not too weird, I don't
See,
think.
it's kind of funny. So get the wife that was 4'10", and then I had a girlfriend that was 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah.
I go everywhere. I run the gambit.
I don't know. I definitely have had those taller girls take an interest in me because, I know it's tougher for the taller girls to, find a guy in this world, guy guys like a girl who's shorter because guys like when a girl can look up to their man, and it's hard for a tall woman to look up to him. So that's like why the volleyball players try to go for the NBA players, or I don't know if that's
Something like that.
yeah, I don't know. I have no idea what any of that stuff's like, but
Ladies and gentlemen, I hate to do this to you guys. This has been a great show, but I do have to wrap this up because I hate to say this. I'm not like 50% of the vinyl community that's semi-retired or retired and actually can, it's not a slam on them. It's just they got a hell of a lot more time on their hands because they don't have to work, or maybe they work part-time. But I have to get up early tomorrow and do the grind. But I'm hoping we're going to see how this all goes because not too many people maybe know about the living situation. My son and his girlfriend moved in. So Saturday could be quite interesting. So if it turns out that I might do it Friday night, I might, but I'm shooting for Saturday sometime. Probably either anywhere from mid-afternoon to early evening, just for a little while anyway. I want to
okay.
thank Dr. Frankenstein, aka Will. I'm glad you showed up. Also, Captain FF, who was here earlier, and I'm glad. You know what? I think somehow we could definitely spend another hour with celeb stories. I love hearing all these kind of stories, no matter what the genre is. Hell, I like pop culture too. It doesn't matter. Gee, we could probably spend another hour or two. That ought to be a fun forum sometime down the line. That's all we'll talk about. It's like, tell me your story, guys. You come up here or put it in the comments, and we'll have some fun with that because I think it's neat.
I think we should have a whole live stream talking about assholes in the music industry.
That also could be kind of fun too.
I bet it'd
I
be a
saw
great
you
live stream.
commented David Crosby, and oh my God, yeah, I know half a dozen people. I'm not kidding, half a dozen that met David Crosby since the 1970s. Ass, and more ass, a-hole. Yes, speak ill of the dead. In this case, the majority seems to have it. He was an asshole. And on that note, oh boy, I want to thank everybody here. I love you guys. Seriously, we did good, Will. We got almost like 26 people at one point. Not that it really matters, but it's fun because I don't get that many people. But I hope to get more and more as we get along here.
Well, I think maybe sometimes when I'm on, people tune in because they're like, "Oh no, we're gonna get some drama because William's on."
Well, this is a no drama, no bullshit zone. I think everybody
I'm
knows
just
that cough, cough, Roger Daltrey, huh? I don't know
see.
about that. You got me on that one.
That's how I troll people. Is I jump on people's live streams, I get them to expect some drama, and then I don't give them any at all, and then I make them watch me the whole time.
See,
So,
it's the anti bit there. That's right.
yep, I'm.
Mike Walton, the death clause. Oh boy.
I think we're a good team. Maybe we could team up and.
I have no problems with that. From time to time, I have no problems with that at all, sir.
The VC needs more watchable duos. It's like they're desperate for it. It's not a joke because I think so many people get lost on these panels, or not to mention names, George Boredom. But no, I'm kidding. Shout out to George Borden. He knows I'm bullshit.
He's a good guy.
But I do think some of the panels do get like 12 people or like too much where I can't follow it. And then when I'm on those panels, I don't even know. Sometimes I try and jump in, and then someone changes subject on me. Or like I was on the Tomato Show, and it was the Mazzy episode, and Mazzy starts talking about the Zodiac Killer, and he lived in San Francisco around then. And that's one of my favorite serial killer stories ever, and I wanted to ask him a question, but then someone jumps in on the tomato says, "Oh yeah, I remember that," and "Oh yeah, my daughter said this." I'm like, "Oh God." I mean, there's certain times where like the right people could talk about something, like me and Mazzy talking about the Zodiac killer. I thought would have been great.
Yeah.
And then I suddenly got to hear about somebody's daughter, eating a sucker in the backseat of the car or something. It's like you got to get the right people in the same conversation.
Anyways, I don't mind if there's a lot of people, but like you said, it's hard when all are talking at once.
Yeah.
I try to listen. Once in a while, okay, I'll accident, but then I'll shut up until the person finishes their thought. It really is hard to control 9 or 10 people or in a stream. That's true. I think the most I ever had was the maximum, which I'm cheapo on StreamYard, so 6 is the max, including myself, and that's enough for me, maximum. I can handle a half a dozen, and to me, that's manageable, especially with people that I've known for many, many years.
Well, you're talking viewers?
No, I'm talking about different channels that have come on. Like I've had different channels come on, like Doc Dacus, Jeff Kendall,
okay.
Tim Smith, Beans. I miss Beans, damn it. But people like that, Mayo, Tim Allen, all those people.
No, I've seen you up on Mayo's show a few times here recently.
I think that's fun, to tell you the honest truth. I like being on there in the morning. That's like, I'm barely awake. I'm already working on the first cup here. It's like, let's see what's going to happen today. What's Mayo and the King of Chaos and such, and etc. Blah blah. And just I know the Beans days. Damn it, I miss that, man. I do so much. Yeah, and Will, I'll tell you something though. You've got the charisma, you've got all the stories too. And it's like this is the reason why, I have interesting guests, I have interesting people in the comments. So, okay, all right. I know I said I was going to go. I'm going to throw one more story out. And some people know about this already from a previous stream or two. But he showed up in my store again this week, and we got to talk a little bit more. So I don't know if you people know your thrash metal very well. Now I've dipped my toes in that too. Like I don't know, Flotsam and Jetsam and oh God, I'm tired.
Megadeth.
Stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, just. So
not to throw out the obvious one.
Hey, that's fine. But so the thing is, though, is that I found out that there was a guy here in town who he had, and I think it's a cool band, but they didn't stick around very long. We'll find out why eventually. But they had an album on Roadrunner back in the day. And they put out 2 on vinyl. I'm looking for them now. There's a reason. And then he put out a new album earlier this year. And that band's name is Atrophy. And if you don't know what that is, go seek it out. Okay. And if I damn it, I don't know where the hell it's at. He signed it for me. Brian seems like a very cool dude, and he's going to be one of my first interviews. We're just setting it up.
Nice.
I want to have different people from different genres. That's what I want, because music is all kinds of things. That is a fact. Yes, good old I love. I do not. The only one I have is the first album, conveniently in mono, thanks to a book sale.
I have one over there. I can't reach it though.
He was a cool dude, and he did love and Graham Parsons, and hated the Eagles. What's not to love? Now, I'll tell you this much, okay? I like the Eagles, but if I'm gonna hear the Eagles, give me first album up to One of These Nights. That's where you still have a semblance of a little bit of country rock before all the good ones get fired and you're left with the Don Glenn monster.
Yeah. I saw the Eagles right after high school, like right after I graduated. A buddy of mine. Now we're 18 years old. Eagles are way before our time. And so we kind of picked up on it from our parents and all that. But for us, it wasn't as exciting as we thought. like I mean, here way before our time, like I said, but so everyone at the show was like as old as our parents, and our parents weren't there. But I mean, it was just kind of funny. Like we did kind of feel like we were hanging out in like a crowd that we weren't exactly used to at this point. But no, there was kind of two parts of the show. First part was kind of boring, slow, putting us to sleep. But then the second part of the show, not even kidding, Joe Walsh like got up there and played every single hit that like Rocky Mountain Way,
Oh hell
Life's
yeah!
Been Good, kicked everyone in the balls the second half of that show. Yeah, no, it ended up being he saved the show.
Thank God.
Yeah, no, they and you know, I think they did play some of those Eagles hits, but anything that was memorable was the Joe Walsh era of the Eagles that they played.
Hey, people in the comments. I know I'll never get Joe Walsh, but how about this one? Since you guys seem to like love so much, do you think I should attempt to reach out to Johnny Eccles? He's out there with the love banner. He's like I might be the only surviving member left.
So are you talking about to interview for your channel?
Yeah,
that would be incredible. I thought about doing that for myself. Now, actually, my target was I was a little bit sketchy on this, but because I do the Urban Outfitters stuff, and I will some of those smaller artists I will seek out. There was an artist that her album sounds a lot like the newest Taylor Swift, or the last new Taylor Swift, not the one that came out last week. But I thought about her. It was a limited to 300 pressing only. And I thought about messaging her on Instagram saying, hey, you want to just jump on my show and can I talk to you about your album and give it a spotlight? I never ended up doing it, but I don't know that now that you mentioned that, Paul, I think that could be maybe a fun direction to head in my channel. The only trouble is I don't know. Sometimes like the demographics on my channel, I don't know if I interviewed this lady, this girl, how much my crowd would be into it. That's the only trouble. So,
well, you never know. I mean, this is the thing I have professed for 13 years. I try to keep an open mind and open ears. And I think, I've been pleasantly surprised. Mm-hmm. Of course, I've also been, what the hell is this shit? But it seems to be in the minority for me over the years. But you got to be able to do that. Now, when I was a kid, I wasn't so much. But by the time that first record store opened I was 12, 13, it started to go. My taste by the end of high school. I mean, and then it's so out there now. It's not even funny. And then to find out after high school that certain people that I know, for example, I have a classmate that was Buddy Guy's guitarist for 5 years. He lives out in Florida area by the name of Frank Bang is his stage name. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, Frank, I talk to him once in a while privately, and he puts out stuff too. I'm like, Frank, damn it, I wish we would have known better in high school because I love the fucking blues. I loved it back then. I was spinning 50s and 60s shit besides whatever was coming out in the 80s. I said, me and you could have been like that. And so on and so on, So it's like, you just keep your, Pamela DeBar, they're saying, I didn't know she had a podcast. But so maybe I'll roll the dice. It might be a little while. But that one, the Atrophy one though, probably is going to be filmed. Some of it's going to be filmed, and some of these interviews we're going to try like this. It just depends, like the local ones I'll film.
Yeah.
The other ones will be obviously out there. I have got several people, and I will not say who else right now, that are like, they're interested. They're like, tell us when you get, and now I'm like, All right, people. But I have to do those on a consistent day or try to. It depends on their schedule, obviously. But
Yeah.
Wednesdays and Saturdays would be best for me. There's a book about love. I didn't know that. I'd love to check that out myself, actually.
I was gonna say, as far as like I think I mentioned, like, live streams are all the rage. I think people prefer to watch something live because I don't know, it just seems like in the moment, not rehearsed, and
Yeah, we'll
I
see. Maybe I'll give him a buzz because I mean
yeah.
he does play with StreamYard. He told me so, and I'm just
Well,
going. Maybe we'll do it that way. I don't know.
well,
It'd be fun.
maybe if worst comes to worst, I bet Melody would come on your show.
Oh God, you know it. But you
I
know what?
know.
He's an interesting character,
Yeah.
But it'd be one of those things, like I said, if I'm going to do this live, and then I would ask the host, look, or the excuse me, the person I'd be talking to, I'm like, tell me how much you got. You got 30 minute, beautiful. But like maybe 5 minutes before that, anybody got questions? Anybody
Mhm.
want to come up and respectably ask a question? I have no problem with that. Get the
That'd be
audience
cool.
interacted.
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
totally.
all
I
right,
like your idea, Paul.
thank you. And you know what? Like I said, maybe we could occasionally do some duet shows. I have no problem with that at all, sir. At
Yeah.
all.
Well, there's even like gosh, I don't know if you watch much of that record store day stream I did, but when Ruth Ann Seven jumped up there, she's
Sure.
not going to be the most knowledgeable record store day person, but because I know how to interact with her, I
Mhm.
know how to make something like that fun,
Yeah.
interesting, and at least I can talk about record store day. She'll allow me to do it, but then she's cultured enough that she could comment on some of those artists too.
Mhm.
And
See, yeah, Ruth Ann's an interesting person. I've
yeah,
I, I've dealt, we've privately chatted before in the past. All right, guys. I
yeah.
know I keep loving you guys. I'm just like, but I got to put the brakes. Everybody, have yourself a kick-ass rest of the week. I'm going to shoot for Saturday. I'll try to give advance notice. All right, everybody. You guys take care. God bless. Rock on. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, always powered by coffee each and every time because it is the Mighty Psycho Promise. Take care. Thank you, Will and Cap and everybody. Just have a good night and thank
All
you.
right. We'll see you next time, VC.
Ta ta.
All right.
Oh boy. Sometimes there we go. It's the